All right, Casino. It is now time for everyone's favorite segment, and that is the only sports podcast, Power Rankings Casino. You know how I love the themes. Today's theme is space, because when Casino sent me his Power Rankings, I was like, you must be out of your mind. You must be floating in space
You're
because
the
you can't
only
be from this
person.
planet.
You're the only person that has them as one, man.
That's not true. That's not true. Also, you don't know who we're talking about because we haven't done our power rankings yet. So for Casino's
Just
power
assuming.
ranking, number 10. And again, we're traveling through space. We're spacemen lost in space. So we're floating through the galaxy. Your number 10, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I do have the Broncos here. And it's not because of how well or not so well Bo Nix played in this last game, but that defense that looked really good. I do like the Broncos. I told you they're going to keep moving up in my power rankings as long as they keep winning games here, and they did just that.
Yeah. My number 10 team Casino. Now we're going from space, and the only way to travel through space is obviously to use the hyperspeed, right? Or to use however whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, depending on if you're a Star Wars fan or a Trekkie, which one is it called?
My number 10, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I
Because
love that. That's all-time top photo
I
in
use it
sports
for
history.
everything. I
Yeah.
use it for
So
everything.
what we're referencing, if you're just listening, is that Baker Mayfield where he just looks like a total bum at the podium. Oh,
He's got
it's
the handlebar mustache. It's
dude,
great.
it is so good. It is so good.
But I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as my number 10 team because, again, I think they're going to win the NFC South. I think they show so much heart, grit. I don't think a team that is bad plays better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I
I
would
don't
agree with
think
you.
the
No,
Tampa Bay
I would agree
Buccaneers,
with you.
yeah, I don't think they're a good team. I don't think they're a bad team, but I just don't think any team plays harder than them. And I don't think a quarterback in the league wants to win more than Baker Mayfield. Like you could just,
Maybe Joe Burrow.
that's yeah. Should I say on a winning team?
There it is.
Like Baker Mayfield literally just grabs the team in the palm of his hand and he's like, I am winning this game. He's throwing blocks downfield. He's running for his life. It's again, I just like Baker Mayfield.
I don't hate this pick. I truly don't hate this pick. He's
Yeah,
they're right outside for me.
Buccaneers at number 10. Casinos number 9, falling all the way down to number 9, the Baltimore Ravens.
I don't care how good your offense is. That defense is shit. That defense is shit, dude. And you're supposedly having a awesome run defense. Yes, it's against an MVP candidate with Saquon Barkley, but you couldn't stop him. Like you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like
And he iced the game like he's done against everybody else.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's you can't. The Ravens defense. I mean, you have 5 losses on the season. Like you're lucky you're in the power rankings. You are extremely lucky that teams are still considering you elite. I don't know why I'm still considering you elite.
Wow. Strong words, Casino. Strong
I
words.
mean, prove me wrong. Like they're
No, that's true. I agree with
come
you.
on.
My number 9 team Casino is a two-way tie. I have both the Broncos
Why
and
do you
Chargers
keep
at
doing this? That's not fair.
9. We never said we couldn't. I have the Broncos at Chargers at number 10. Both of them again
At number 10,
or at number 9, I'm sorry. I forgot. I thought Baker Mayfield was just hanging out right there. But number 9, they are both honestly, if these two teams played in a wild card game right now, who are you picking? I feel
oh,
like you could just do a coin flip.
I would
I
I would probably pick Broncos.
See, I think I would pick the Chargers just because I think they have obviously they have a better quarterback. I think they have a better coach. I think their defense is pretty comparable to each other, but
Yeah, but I do think Denver's defense is better.
see, and when you look at the rankings of the defense in just total defense, Chargers are 14th, Broncos are 9. So
Yeah.
again, they are very similar. Yeah, but then again, you look at the offenses and would you rather have Bo Nix or
Just I
Herbert?
would rather have Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and then for coaching, I think pretty comparable in coaching, even though we don't like him. Sean Payton's a damn good coach.
He's a
I
damn good coach. He's a
he's
damn good
a
coach, and he just couldn't do anything with that asshole Russell Wilson. Only Mike Tomlin can reel that guy in.
Yeah. And obviously, we both love Harbaugh. And again, I think these teams are very similar to each other. And I think that you could do a coin flip if they played every week. These teams would finish 8-8. Like they would just win one, lose one, win one, lose one. So that's why they're both my number 9. You can also put two people at one spot, Casino. I don't know why I'm the only one doing this. Your number 8. We just mentioned them. You have the Los Angeles Chargers.
I do. Again, because I'm not putting teams linked up together. Um,
You're
so
lost.
yes, I know I just said that I would have Broncos and then I have Chargers ahead of them. But again, this is where I have them in a hole for the season, right? But putting those two teams together, that would be a really fun matchup. But I do like the Chargers. I do think I would be afraid to play them. They play old style football. They play beat the hell out of you football. Um, Low scoring. I like their coach. I definitely do like Harbaugh a little bit more, obviously, than most coaches in the league right now. So that's why I'm going to keep them sitting there. And I do have them above the Ravens because at least they can stop some teams.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at Chargers, Broncos, Chargers right now, 8-4, Broncos 8-5. I mean, points for Denver has more points against Chargers have allowed less, but they're both 4-2 at home. The Chargers are 4-2 on the road. The Broncos are 4-3. They're 2-1 and 2-2 in the division. They're so similar in almost every category
What
that
was
I
that?
think they're so similar
No,
in every
what was
category.
the hand action?
So similar in
So
every
similar.
in every category that I think, if you don't put these 2 teams on the same tier, I mean, what are you doing? You're out in space. That's what I'm thinking. But next up, Casino, my number 8 team is only one team, and your pick of the Ravens dropped down to number 9. I have them here at number 8. Quote the Ravens nevermore. I have the Ravens at number 8. I don't know why you're laughing, Casino. It's just a little bird, aka a raven. But
Or it's arguably one of the best, if not the best, Treehouse of Horrors episodes.
uh no, the one where Homer goes back in time with the toaster. That one's the best.
That's
That
fair
one's the
enough.
best. But I have the Ravens at number 8. Bart the Raven is the mascot for them. Again, much like Casino mentioned, their offense is elite, 8-5. But again,
That's what
elite
they look like.
offense.
That facial expression is what they look like every single time that they play a good offense.
Yeah. When their offense is not putting up points, we've seen what they do. They score 12 points and they get shut down. They don't score a touchdown against the what is it? Steelers. Their defense actually plays well, stops the Steelers and they still lose. So this offense, as we've said for multiple weeks now, they need to be elite to beat anybody, and if they slip up even a little, then what
I
we
can't
see
stop
them
looking at
score.
Baker.
He's there for the whole list. But yeah, we just are in a spot right now where we're watching a team much like this reminds me of those Chargers teams where it was like they had LT and they had Philip Rivers and they had Schottenheimer and they were just like these elite teams that were like losing because remember that season where they have the number one offense and number one defense and they lost games because of like their special teams, just weird stuff. The Ravens are literally losing games because they can't, their elite offense just will be elite, but then they can't stop anybody. Or then all of a sudden they can't score. It's just weird juju with this Ravens team. Next up,
Juju
Casino.
Smith-Schuster.
He's not on the team.
I know,
Next
just
up,
something to say.
Casino. Your number 7 pick, you have the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I do. I don't know why. I like the Packers. I think they're playing well. Again, I just want a little more consistency on the player that you just spent a shit ton of money on with Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Outside of that, they're great in running back. Their defense is good. They've got playmakers everywhere. You just got to make sure that your quarterback is a little more consistent. That's my one scare for this team. Besides that, they're young, they're hungry, they want to get back to winning football. I mean, that organization, that franchise is so hell bent on being a top tier franchise. Like that's they pride themselves on that. Same with like the Ravens and the Steelers. They want to be somebody that is always going to be scary to play against. So, and I
Yeah,
think they're that. I think they just got to have a little more consistency with their quarterback play.
true. My number 7 team, Casino, was almost the Packers, but the Steelers get put in the Packers place because you'll see in a minute. I couldn't put the Packers here because then it would have messed up my joke answers. So really, I have the Steelers as a better team than this. But again,
Your whole power rankings is a joke setup. Like fuck off.
yeah, joke set up punchline. I mean, that's how it is.
So
Uh
the only sports podcast, we're gonna go with my power rankings because
My power
because yours
rankings
are a
are
joke.
weekly. Mine are weekly. And my weekly power rankings has the Steelers a little bit less than the Packers because again, the Steelers gave up 38 points against the Bengals. And again, against that
Who
Bengals defense, they scored 44 points, but Steelers defense is supposed to be elite.
Yeah, but
And
we talked about it all season. Who's got the numbers if they had a winning record would be MVP of the league? Joe Burrow.
yeah, but you know what happened when he played a real defense against the Eagles? He had his worst game of the season. So that's all I'm saying. I
Can't
think,
be
but I
perfect every game, bud.
That's true. And it's divisional. But again, also, I don't think anybody would have seen this game being 44-38. An AFC North game being
No.
44-38 is
Yeah, no,
crazy.
definitely not.
So Steelers drop a little again because it's based weekly. And they had a great performance this week offensively, but defensively, again, you're giving 38 points to a 4 win team. I know it's Joe Burrow. I know, but also Chase Brown had 70 yards and a touchdown. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins had pretty decent games for what it was. TJ Watt was a monster in this game, which I do really like the Steelers defense.
Dude,
But
Watt's so good.
yeah, he might be the best defensive player in the league. And but yeah, Steelers, you got to fall back. I would put you at 5, but again, you gave up so many points to this Bengals team. So you're at or no, I'm sorry, I would put you at 6, but you're at 7. So now, Casino, your number 6 is the team we just talked about, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They look good. They look good. Now I just need them to again, the teams that I have ahead of them, the teams that I have ahead of them are just simply better in my mind. But the Steelers, I would be scared shitless to play. I mean, they look good, and we talked about it. Their first couple losses, that was when you still had Justin Fields in there, and then you had that the crazy game in the snow against the Browns divisional game. So Steelers sit there. What Russ did this last weekend proves to me that he is ready to win playoff football.
Yeah, I agree. And but
And
again,
that locker room afterwards, where Tomlin, that scares me when a coach is celebrating and having fun with the team, when he's having fun with the team, that scares me. I would be so intimidated if I was a player on another team and I'm like, "Oh, they're like family. Oh, fuck."
my number 6 team is your number 7 team. It is the Green Bay Packers, Casino. And it's the Green Bay Packers because it is I got a cheesehead fan there. It is the Green Bay Packers because of the
With pasties
performance.
on.
It is the Green Bay Packers because of the performance they had on Thanksgiving against the Dolphins. Dolphins had all the momentum in the world. Tua was like the best quarterback in the league statistically since he came back. Everybody was like, Dolphins are back, us included. And we're like, now Dolphins make a run and go into the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers come out, drop 14 on them in the first half or in the first quarter. Never look back. Games ends up being 30-17. I agree with you where Jordan Love can be really streaky, but he was really good in this game. 21 for 28, 274, 2 touchdowns. So based on this week, I would say the Packers have a little bit edge over the Steelers, but if I had more teams on this playlist or on this rankings, I feel like they'd be on the same spot. Steelers and Green Bay Packers. So Casino, your number 5 pick, if I can find it. There's so many things. Your number 5 might shock some people. You have the Chiefs all the
I
way
do
at
have the
number
Chiefs.
5.
You had another opportunity at home to blow out a horrible, horrible team. The Raiders, what? They have 2 wins, right? I
Yeah.
believe the Raiders, yeah. You had an opportunity to blow them out, to redeem yourself from the first time you played them, where they kept it a one-score game, and now you're at home, and you should have absolutely destroyed them, and you didn't, and you should have lost. Again, to O'Connell. To O'Connell, who
O'Connell
had
had the best game of his career.
dude, he had an outstanding game, and, like, I I just it blew my mind that they lost. Like, I read the I was doing family pictures before we went to the brewery, and I read what happened on the Gamecast, and I was just like, like, I wasn't even mad. I just giggled because
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just it's so expected now that Chiefs are gonna win like that in close games against games they should dominate teams, that yes, they are 5. I have them at 5. I they're just not good. Yes, they keep winning. Yes, they keep winning. Okay, I get that. I get that they keep winning and they still have only 1 loss, you know, fucking whoop-de-doo. But you're to the eye test, they're not playing well. This
No.
defense that's really good, I'm not gonna say that they're bad, but this defense that everybody's like, "Oh, that's a defense." How are you letting these teams do this to you, you know? And then teams that have mediocre defenses, you're not putting points up. You're not blowing them out.
Yeah.
You need to fucking stomp on teams and you're not doing it. That
Again
that's
again, when
where
it
that's where I'm at with the Chiefs, man.
yeah.
Are they a great team? Are they still a one-loss team? Andy Reid, Mahomes, I would be scared shitless to play him, especially in Arrowhead. And I think that's what a lot had to do with that game, where everybody's gonna have their conspiracy theories, but it might have just been too fucking loud in that game where the center fucked up, and
Yeah.
he thought he heard what he heard. So, give Chiefs fans some credit there. I'll give them that credit, but again, you're squeaking by. You are squeaking by. Add this to the list. Add this to the Ravens, to the Falcons, to the Bucks, to the Broncos, Raiders the first time, and then add this one. That's 6 games off the top of my head that I can think about that you're squeaking by. And Panthers, another one. Games you are squeaking by, man.
Well,
Like,
also,
how does this keep happening?
they
They're
had a yeah, they had a top 3 defense after playing the Panthers and the Raiders. Their total defense has slipped to number 8 in the league. Again, after playing the Raiders and the Panthers, their defense fell. So, maybe again, offensively, defensively, this team is a lot more shaky than I think anybody wants to admit. Next up, Casino, my number 5 pick, I am going with the Minnesota Vikings. So when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, they win this past weekend. And again, they looked good doing it. They came back late against what we still think is a feisty Arizona team. They win by 1 point, overcame all the turnovers, the fumbles. Again, Sam Darnold had uh, a fantastic game, 21 for 31, 235, 2 touchdowns. No running game whatsoever in this game. So it was literally all Darnold, all defense. They won late. Again, Minnesota 10-2, kind of just hanging around. Sam Darnold was in that slump. Now he's out of it and playing just like he did in the beginning of the season when everybody had him as a legit Super Bowl
I keep
or
I
MVP candidate. Yeah.
Yes, I hate that you keep saying slump. It wasn't a slump. You played the Lions, who are a better team, and then off a short week after playing the Lions, you lost. Like, it fucking happens. And after that, they've been good. So
Well, no,
that
I'm saying Sam Darnold was in a slump. Like, because passing wise, he
okay,
had
numbers
a
wise. All right, fair, fair,
yeah.
fair, fair, fair. But yeah, no,
And
this team has
also
been
his
so
slump was against the Colts and the Jaguars. So it wasn't the games you're talking about.
Right, but he still won those games. They still won.
Yeah.
So here's the thing though. This looks like the team a few years back where they kept winning like close games. It was that whole, by one score flip-flop kind of games, kind of what the Chiefs are having this year. They
Yeah.
don't look like that though. They don't look like that this year. Like this year, they actually look like a team that deserves to be 10-2.
Yeah. And they're your number 4 team. So, talk more on them, Casino.
Well, I just did.
All right. There you go. But yeah,
Sam Darnold's
also
playing, you just said it. Sam Darnold's playing great. I mean, outside of those couple games, like he could be up there for an MVP candidate. He's looked really good. This defense looks great. You get some key players back. You get TJ Hawkinson. He looks like a great safety blanket. They won him a game. Like this team is going to get dangerous down the stretch.
yeah. Only thing that scares me about the Vikings is you can pass on them 28th in the league in passing defense, but currently the number 1 team against the run in the entire NFL. So they have the
Yeah,
number
okay,
1
so
rush
pretty much
defense,
they're the Ravens, but they're doing what the Ravens can't do, and Ravens
which is
have a
win
better
close games. Yeah.
Ravens have a better offense than the Vikings. You know, at least
Yeah.
most everybody says so, but on paper, that's what it should be. But what are the Vikings doing? They have 3 more wins.
Well, they're also just finding ways to win. Again,
Yeah,
they're
good teams
overcoming
find good ways to
turnovers.
win,
Yeah, I agree. And again,
unless you're the Chiefs and you just get gifted.
well, the Lions, again, one loss away from all of a sudden the Vikings being the number 1 or 2 seed in the league. So Vikings, again, just staying right there. Now Casino, after that was your number 4 pick. My number 4 pick, oh no, she's back, Casino. Because the Chiefs are the devil. Everyone knows that. They're the devil. They're
Ugh.
number 4. The Chiefs are number 4. Again, represent the devil represented by JoJo Siwa right now. I still don't really know what she is or does. I just know she sings.
What she is.
But I'm using her as a placement for the devil right now because the devil is the Chiefs. There's no one you cannot realistically. Again, at the beginning of the season, when we made the AFC preview thing, there was a bunch of people in the comments being like, oh man, you got to be rooting for football history. You got to be rooting for the three-peat, first time ever, all that kind of stuff. No, you don't. I don't want the Chiefs to have another record on their resume. I don't like the Chiefs. The Chiefs, I don't like watching their games because, again, they're a boring offense. Their defense gets worse every week, and then they win on some bullshit at the end of the game we can argue about for 10 hours. So, no, I don't want to see this Chiefs team three-peat. Maybe if it was a Chiefs team that looked like the Chiefs team of 2 years ago, then maybe it'd be like, they're fun, they're interesting, they're doing the trick plays and all that kind of stuff. But this
Oh
Chiefs
yeah.
team, if you're not a Chiefs fan, what possibly could have you being like, I specifically want this version, this
Taylor
Chiefs team to
Swift.
three-peat. But again, I don't feel like football fans are like, oh my God, Taylor Swift. Like their girlfriends and wives and like people online who are Taylor Swift fans are like,
Yeah,
oh my
so
God, Taylor Swift.
everybody that's not a true football fan,
Well,
right? And so that makes America want this team to win.
yeah, I think 3 Super Bowls for Mahomes is enough. I don't want to see him win a 4th, especially
I
with
don't
the
want him to
4th.
get close to 7.
Yeah, I don't. Again, with how many teams there are in front of them that either have 1 or 0 Super Bowls, and this is like their Super Bowl window, the Chiefs should be the one that, unless you're a Chiefs fan, no one is rooting for. Now, Casino, your number, what, we're on number 3? Your number 3 team, Casino, is, I mean, what started this whole travesty? Your number 3 seed, or your number 3 pick right now is
Yeah, the
the
Eagles,
Philadelphia
top 3,
Eagles.
an outstanding fucking team. They're great.
Why didn't you just have him as 32nd in the league? Why didn't you just have him as 32nd in the league?
Yeah. That's I knew that's what you yeah, I love it. That's great. That's what I kept saying to him, like, you're acting like all I'm saying is they're 32nd in the league. They're not. They're a phenomenal fucking team. Again, they started hitting their stride both when the Bills and the Lions started hitting their strides and going unbeaten. So how can I, and I had them above the Eagles. that whole time because the Eagles weren't even in our top 10, both of us. The Eagles were not in the top 10. And how can I put them above either one of those teams that are not faulting? That's my only knock. If you want to do the three-way fucking tie thing, I'll put all three of them in the fucking three-way tie.
I mean, that was an option.
No, it's not an option because the power rankings are supposed to be 1 through 10. But if you want to play it like that, sure. All three of them are my number ones. Okay? Fuck it.
You have them. I see them as number 3 right now.
Yes, because they are number 3.
My number 3 team, Casino. I mean, I'll probably agree with you. My number 3 team is I have the Detroit Lions as my number 3. Now, again, Casino views these power
You have the Lions as 3?
Yes. Yes.
Fuck you.
I have the Lions as the number 3 team in my power rankings. Again, I go week by week. Casino views the power rankings differently. I go week by week. This week, they were the dumbest call in NFL history away from going into OT with a 4-7 at the time Chicago Bears team at home. So they were 3 points away from giving, with almost losing to the Bears on Thanksgiving. Also, Caleb Williams, 20 for 39, 256, 3 touchdowns, and he was only sacked. He was sacked 5 times. So with him being sacked 5 times, no turnovers by this Bears or by this Lions defense, the Lions are getting hurt. They're losing players every week. I mean, on Thanksgiving, you felt bad for how many of their players were going off the field with injuries. I am only putting them here because I think injuries are slightly starting to catch up to this Lions team. And again, we go week by week. Now, again, I will say
you go week by week.
Yes, I go week by week. I will say it's a short week. It's Thanksgiving. It's divisional opponent. So that's what I'm using to kind of bolster it's panic mode in Detroit. I don't think it's panic mode in Detroit, but
not
I
even
do
close.
think
They're one fucking lost team.
Yeah,
part of my French. I've been cursing a lot.
But also, again, I think the main difference between Eagles and Lions right now is the division they play in, because Eagles have nobody on their tail in their division. Commanders they beat, and they don't have enough games to catch up to them, right?
And that's why the Lions. That's why the Lions should be above the Eagles, is because the Lions have to play 2 elite teams out of that division, and then the Bears being a divisional opponent, like 2 elite teams, they have to play twice. And they're handling business.
Yeah, but also they haven't handled that business yet. I go week by week, Casino. I don't look in the future. But also, what I'm saying is the Eagles, the worst case scenario for the Eagles is they're the number 2 seed in the NFC. The worst case for the Lions is they fall to the 5 seed and don't have a home playoff game the entire playoffs. That is still possible.
And that's totally fine.
Well,
I think that they would still be just fine.
Yeah. Again, Lions number 3, good time. But now, Casino, your number 2 pick is your number 2 pick. Oh my God, Casino, we're in space. We've reached our destination. We're cracking the barrier. Your Bills, they're cracking the atmosphere. You have them at number 2. Talk about the Bills at number 2.
I love what Josh Allen's doing. Again, I have him right there with Saquon Barkley in a coin flip for me for MVP, but it's obviously going to go to him because he's a quarterback. As long as his play stays consistent for the remainder of the season, I can't wait until the Bills-Lions game, man. I can't. This is going to be such a good game. I have the Bills there. I like what this team's been doing. Cook has been surprising me. I think he's been surprising everybody. He looks like a much more competent running back this season. Also, Amari Cooper going, that just adds another weapon. And we've talked about that when he got traded over there. And I just like the will of this team. You're talking about Baker Mayfield doing everything he can to get his team to win. Josh Allen is doing the same thing, but on a better team, which makes a team scary.
That's true. You know what? I agree so much, Casino. They're also my number 2 team. So, mine is I just found a planet. So we're going to different planets, Casino. You're breaking the atmosphere. I just found my planet. So my planet, we both have the Bills at number 2. In total defense, the Bills are 11th in the league. In total offense, the Bills are 10th in the league. So they have a top 10 offense, a top 11 defense. Josh Allen, again, at the beginning of the season, I thought this was going to be a down year for the Bills. Josh Allen instead decided he was going to put the team on his back, much like you said, much like Baker Mayfield, on a better team. He's a better player than Baker Mayfield, and he's showing it by being pretty much everybody's consensus number 1 or number 2 pick to be NFL MVP this year, especially when you look at the season Saquon's having, the season Lamar's having. For Josh Allen to be number 1 is really impressive. And then Casino, you're number 1. Up, you landed on the planet. Too bad the planet was unstable and it exploded. I'm so sorry, Casino. Your number 1 pick is the Detroit Lions.
Don't laugh, honey. Oh, yeah. Again, what else do you want me to talk about him, man? Jared Goff looks just dynamite. You know, yeah, he had that one. He had that bad game, but guess what? They still found a way to win that game. And then he came out right after that, the game after, and showed why that was just a fluke. This team's legit. Yes, they keep getting injured, but that's something that's more impressive is they keep getting injuries and injuries and injuries, but they just keep next man up, next man up, next man up. That's impressive. That's super impressive.
Yeah.
You know, it says say they lose to the Bills, you know, coming up. Yeah, they'll knock down. They'll definitely knock down. Same with the Bills. You know, that's a realistic thing. That's gonna probably happen for either one of these teams. But right now, I gotta wait till that game till that happens. And maybe the injuries will show up against the Bills, and the Bills are able to take advantage of that. And then it's probably going to be a panic time because it'd be like, oh, can the Lions take care of one of those top tier? I mean, if it's a close game, I think we're safe and they're fine. If the Bills go in and do that, take care of them. But like if they get blown out by the Bills, then you know I will take everything that you're saying about the injuries being an issue much more to heart.
Yeah. And as far as my thing goes, Casino, I've landed on my planet and it's paradise. It's paradise
It's
here.
Eden.
Oh, wait a second. Look to the sky. What is that, Casino? What's in the sky? Oh, it's a beautiful eagle because the Eagles are the number 1 team in the league. Right now, after this week, they have the best win, beat the best opponent, held them to 12 points.
Beat the best opponent that has 5 losses on the season.
I mean, hey,
beat the Bills, beat the Bills, beat the Lions, beat the Chiefs, then we can talk.
Everybody was picking Commanders to beat him. Everybody was picking Ravens to beat him.
I didn't.
And then
no.
sure enough.
No, you picked the Ravens to win. I picked the Eagles to win.
But I did it as a reverse jinx, perfectly executed.
Bullshit. Pull that up. My daughter's laughing at you right now. She knows she was here. She heard that.
I think the Eagles finished the season. I think they beat every team. I think the Steelers are the only.
I think that both the Lions and the Bills will win every game except for the game that they play each other. One of them's going to lose. That's how that works.
Well, also Lions play Vikings, Packers. You know.
Yeah, and I think the Lions will take care of both the Vikings and the Packers. I do.